Good evening, everybody. Thank you for surviving the tropical storm.
I hope you're all okay.
We are the Dark Side. I am Paul. That is Eric. There's a Rose behind the camera.
Hey,
Yeah. Big comic week.
Oh yeah,
Apparently, there's a big episode of Loki today that I didn't get to watch.
I just wasn't feeling up to it today.
And there's a Black Widow finally coming out.
Is
hey.
that tomorrow or Friday?
Technically Friday, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah. Exciting week for comics.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that came out this week. So,
I'm excited about some of it.
yeah. Some of it's very exciting.
Yeah, like Justice League Infinity.
Yes.
So if this is your first time buying comics, go to that link. We do flat rate $9.99 shipping or free pickup in the store.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We're in Sarasota. That's kind of it.
Yeah, there's a link right below your the picture there.
There was.
There was.
Yeah,
It's gone?
I moved on.
Okay. All right, then. Then perhaps we should move on as well.
Indeed, we should.
Eric, why don't you start? With whatever you want to start with.
I think I want to save this one for last, so we'll
Okay.
start over here with Masters of the Universe Revelation. I am not the biggest Masters of the Universe person. I didn't really experience a lot of it growing up, but I decided to read this because I felt like this would be a decent place to start. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really fun story. I liked the art style because it definitely was a little more animated.
Okay.
I think to match up with the.
Yeah, this is a prequel to the new animated series.
And I only just realized that Kevin Smith is in some way involved with this.
Well, he's the showrunner for the show,
Okay.
and he gets story credit. For this.
Yes.
He didn't write it. but he
Because
got story
Sheridan
credit.
scripted it, right?
I flipped through it. It looks fun. There was a really cool image of Skeletor where you can see his bones through his flesh, which was really cool because I like skeletons.
Yeah, I liked the designs of Skeletor here. They weren't like anything I've ever seen before. Because I'm not the biggest He-Man fan, but I am a big Skeletor fan.
Well, I mean, that new show is getting a lot of hype, and a lot of people are really excited about it.
I think the concept of the Masters of the Universe is awesome. I just haven't really seen a good version of it.
Okay.
Like the rebooted series from like 20 years ago was pretty cool. But yeah. So hopefully the series is good, and hopefully that movie they're making is good.
Indeed.
Brian Almond is excited.
Very good. I look forward to it. I am a casual Kevin Smith fan, so I'm hoping that I hope it's some of his better writing.
I forgot to grab it, but there's also a really nice Mike Mignola cover.
Yes, there's a really cool Mike Mignola cover. If you like Mike Mignola,
It's an homage to a Hellboy cover, right?
but it's just his art
Yeah,
style.
that's
Okay.
just.
It all looks the same.
I thought it looked like the trade dress.
It was it's a color version of his sketching from the Quarantine Sketchbook,
understood.
which is an awesome book. If you
Which
missed
you
out,
really like, yes.
yes.
I enjoyed it too. It had Blue Demon Jr., who's one of my favorite luchadors.
Where am I gonna go?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go over here to the Good Asian,
Okay.
issue number 3. Right, yeah, issue number 3. I have a problem with a lot of the comics I read this week. There's a lot of spoilers, so I can't really go into like what I liked about them. But it's a really good continuation of this era noir. That made sense, right?
No.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying it, and I think every issue is just getting better and better.
Good.
Since we talked about Mike Mignola briefly, let's go to Hellboy.
Yes.
I thought this was really fun. If you enjoy Mike Mignola and if you enjoy Hellboy, you're gonna like this. It was a perfectly fun story with a nice twist.
Yeah, it's kind of a standard twist. Yeah, it's you like Hellboy, and this is
Or
this is
even
right there. This is a 2-parter.
yes,
Yeah. So he's called on to investigate what seems to be like a haunted house so it can be cleared for some snobby rich guy to get his inheritance, and then things happen.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a typical Hellboy story.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It had a
Good
couple
artwork.
of nice little details, like the older woman, especially at the end when she's like when they're in the middle of it, and she just looks all the way.
She looks corpseified.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good. I look forward to the conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Here, Noctera number 5. Again, can't say much about it. It's continuing to be really good, fast-paced, a lot of fun, really good artwork.
What kind of comic fan would you continue to recommend this story for? Like, what? Someone who reads what type of book would like this?
It's spooky and mysterious, or even mysterious.
Like maybe a horror Mad Max.
Oh, ooh, that's a really cool description. And based on the first issue, I agree.
Spooky Mad, less spooky, but yeah, no, horror,
If anybody played and enjoyed Alan Wake, they would like Noctera.
Okay.
Just agree with me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just fast paced because the whole thing is driving. They're just driving, few stops, car chases, good stuff. What else you got, Eric?
Next up, let's go to Justice League Infinity. I really enjoyed this from J.M. DeMatteis and James Tucker, who, because DeMatteis, in addition to being a comic writer, was one of the writers for Justice League Unlimited, and James Tucker was one of the producers. And this is the start of a new season, basically, of Justice League Unlimited. It takes place, I think, a couple of years after the finale, because it was definitely a very different status quo than where we left the show. I thought it was really fun. It's sort of got some dangling plot threads from the show, as well as a last page that had me going, huh.
I didn't see the last page. I flipped through the book. I read a little bit.
The last page is what I showed you.
Okay.
When I wasn't sure if it was what I thought it was in it.
Okay.
When we realized it was probably someone else.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, that's going to be a weird thing.
All I'll say is for a book that is a response to a children's show, I'm very curious where they're going with it.
Yeah, definitely. Why don't we talk about Fight Girls?
What order are you going?
just going for it. Rose, tell us about Fight Girls.
I liked Fight Girls. It was the first in a 5-issue miniseries. Frank Cho is known for kind of one thing, and he does it well, I will say.
He does do it well.
He likes pretty ladies, and he likes pulpy stuff. If you like the Hunger Games, but specifically the part of the Hunger Games that were the actual games, and a whole area trying to kill you and obstacles and stuff like that, you will like Fight Girls.
I think that's the first AWA book that we've had on the show.
Might be, yeah. But I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the other issues.
Cool. I will check it out after your recommendation. Eric?
Yeah.
Or
no, that was it,
more?
really.
Okay.
I could have gone into more plot, but I don't have to.
No. It's a plotless day. We can't go into plots.
Sure. Next, let's go to some wrestling.
Yes. How do they say their name?
The New Day.
There we go.
Yeah. This is The New Day, Power of Positivity, #1. Featuring 3 of my favorite wrestlers: Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed, Big E, and Kofi Kingston. And
they're standing on pancakes.
Yeah.
They're surrounded by floating bootios.
They are they're just fun.
They're the most entertaining professional wrestlers around right now.
That's probably true, yeah. This was really cool. It was sort of an in-universe origin story. It's not the origin for the wrestlers, but for the characters, which I love.
That was interesting.
It definitely doesn't gel with a lot of what actually happened in universe.
No,
but
I do like that Farouk was in it.
Yes. Ron Simmons is a favorite wrestler of mine, so that was cool. That being said, I do actually like the changes it made to what actually happened. It felt a lot cleaner in ways that it streamlined things.
Right.
And it was just fun. I think it wasn't my favorite comic of the week, but it was probably one of the ones that I had the most fun reading.
That's another one that I flipped through it. I read like the first few pages because I also like the New Day. It was fun.
It wasn't as corny as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to come off as very like after school special, kind of.
I think didn't Austin Creed write this?
No, there was an Austin, but I don't think it was him. It was Austin Walker, and I think he's Austin Watson. But either way, I felt that this was like the voices definitely felt like the New Day. Like it didn't feel like cartoonish versions of them.
Right.
I could see the performers speaking in that way as their characters.
All right, where are we gonna go?
Who knows?
Spin the wheel. We're gonna visit the Nice House on the Lake, issue number 2. Definitely ramps things up from issue number 1. Issue number 1 was a little tedious to get through at first, but then like by the end you're completely in universe. You feel it, you understand what's going on, and then like this is just like blah.
So would you say that this is your favorite Tinian book right now?
No.
Okay. What would you say is?
Probably Something is Killing the Children.
Okay.
I mean, everything he writes is good, so it's difficult to pick one.
His Detective Comics is still one of my favorite early Rebirth era books.
All right. How about Ordinary Gods?
I very much enjoyed it.
Issue number 1.
I think if I had to pick a book of the week, it might have been that one. Interesting new way to hear kind of a story that's been told before. If you liked American Gods, you would like this one.
Okay.
I would say. But yeah, it's reincarnations of this universe's gods in a never-ending war. And then paralleled by a fantasy book series that fictionalizes the fiction, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
It's not as confusing as that might sound, but it's pretty cool. Unsuspecting kid has to take up the mantle, and then it's like...
I saw a really good, flipping through it, I saw a really good gunshot wound with an eyeball.
Yeah, there were a lot of eyeballs this week. I don't know. There were a lot of eyeballs this week.
I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't read this earlier because like I love Kyle Higgins. He's really good.
Yeah, if you read it, I want to know what you thought about the end of it.
Okay.
Because it was good.
Another one. Giger number 4. Geiger. Sorry, had HR on the mind. Again, like Noctera, it's still just issue by issue is just good. If you're not reading it, you should be. That's it. That's another one I can't like. Spoilers.
All right, let's do some rapid fires of the ones. Tell me about Extreme Carnage.
Extreme Carnage was extreme. It was pretty cool.
Extreme.
It was pretty cool. Favorite part though.
Tell me about the shark.
Carnage shark.
Oh,
Carnage
that's bad.
shark.
Awesome.
So awesome. Teeth everywhere.
I love it.
Also eyeballs. More eyeballs. Lots of eyeballs.
More eyeballs.
Is this a good book for Flash Thompson fans? Would you say?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it sets up some stuff for him to be fairly heroic in a way. It's gross, super body horror-y, so Paul's gonna like that. I showed him a couple of panels. But yeah, Carnage is a bad dude. and
He is.
it's very interesting. Yes.
Well, tell me about Carmen.
Well, again, I can't give too much away because this is the final issue, and it's a very, very satisfying ending.
That's all I needed to know.
So, if you've been reading it and you haven't read this one yet, you're going to be pleased. If they decide to do another series, I'd be perfectly fine with it. But if they just close it at 5, and Guillaume, I can never say it, Guillaume March, if he decides just to do this and it's done, I would be very pleased.
Okay.
Since issue 1, I've been saying it's going to go down as like a modern classic.
I also remember issue 1. You said that after you read the first one, you're like, "This is gonna hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna like break your heart." Did it?
Spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Wonder Girl, is that one still good?
Wonder Girl is my second favorite DC comic right now.
After Swamp?
After Swamp Thing.
I'm excited to read this one because I heard that
You'll be pleased with it.
one of my favorite boys is in this issue.
Yeah, it's just one of those weeks I can't talk about anything.
It makes for great TV.
I know.
Well, don't worry.
If anything, it's building suspense for the reader at home.
Mm-hmm.
About
Basilisk. Good continuation, nice and bloody. This one ends on a really, really good, like, oh my. Like,
something George Takei would...
Yeah, like it's kind of probably a cliched twist that you've probably seen a dozen times, but I wasn't really expecting it because I wasn't trying to predict where the story was going.
Understood.
It's good. Bloody and yeah.
And then we got the
more eyeballs.
We got the clans of something.
The Clans of Bellari.
I enjoyed it, I would say.
This was one that I think I read the first half of. It's just I had a busy night last night.
Yeah, this one was solid. It was about basically space feudalism.
Yeah, from the parts that I read, it wasn't what I was expecting, and I really like the relationship between these two.
Yeah, I appreciate that the child, her
So
name is
far.
Taya, I believe, just like calls out her surrogate father a lot on his like nonsense.
Yeah. Was that it for the new releases this week?
It. No more new releases. Let's move on.
We got one more. We have X-Men #1 from Jerry Dugan, Pepe Larraz, and I forget the first name of the person, last name Gracia, because I'm bad with names. But this was just so much fun. There was a joyous feeling to this book that, like, even as much as I love the Krakoa books, this felt completely different in a way I love. So in the Hellfire Gala, we got a new X-Men team, which consists of Marvel Girl,
Peach Momoko cover.
yeah, Sunfire, Sync, Cyclops, Wolverine, the best Wolverine, Rogue, and Polaris.
I'm going to try to do this seamlessly.
Yeah. So if y'all remember the 90s X-Men one, it had 4 covers.
This is not seamlessly.
It's not.
The Stormbreakers variants are like those covers, one picture. And the cool thing is each X-Men was drawn by a different artist.
Yeah, so it's not like this image, but this person and this person were 2 different artists.
Correct. I think I like all of them except Patrick Gleason's Rogue, but that's the pose more than anything.
It's fine.
I like that she's kind of powerful, but her spine looks a little
She looks
unstressed.
fine.
Okay.
That's no, I've seen human beings do much worse.
Okay. And then we have 2 other covers. We have our 1 in 25 and 1 in 50 covers.
There's the 1 in 25 going for $20. Very green. And we've got the 1 in 50 for $35.
Yeah.
I think that's adorable.
Yeah.
I almost grabbed it.
Same. The thing I really liked about this issue is that it brings the X-Men back to New York. While most mutants are on Krakoa, the X-Men team has a treehouse in Central Park, which is now named in this universe Seneca Park, which is awesome. Because there's some New York history that the issue delves into there. I really joyously enjoyed this. I'd been kind of frustrated in a lot of ways with the X-Men line recently.
I'm very glad that you joyously enjoyed it.
Like, this just felt like such a breath of fresh air after some of the books that we've had, and I really loved it. And before we move on, one thing I forgot to mention that I wanted to mention, Hellboy this week takes place in my hometown, which was weird.
That is weird.
I got to page 1 and it said New Paltz, New York, and I was like, why is Hellboy going to where I lived? That's strange.
Because it's cursed.
And yes, New Paltz. A lot of people in New York like to joke that New Paltz is the town that time forgot. Because
sounds Lovecraftian.
You wouldn't know that it left the 60s if you were there.
Well, those are our new books for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know if you have any questions. Okay. Well, then I suppose we can move on to our first batch of back issues.
I suppose we can.
Indeed.
This is a really, really low-grade book. I've got it at a 2. The cover is virtually off of the book. It is My Greatest Adventure number 77. If you're familiar with this title, a lot of people aren't. Rose, do you know what this title is?
Mm-hmm.
This is the title that became Doom Patrol.
Yep.
And then this right here is credited as being the Proto-Robot Man.
Sweet.
So this is about 10-ish or so issues off from introducing the Doom Patrol.
Also, according to that dialogue, a precursor to Grey's Anatomy.
So $10 for a 2. Then we've got a Mars Attacks number 11. It's not Mars Attacks number 11. It is Wizard Ace Edition number 11. This has a... What's the clear plastic cover? Acetate cover. So that's a lot of fun. It's in great shape for $15. If you love your Mars Attacks, this is a good one. This is one we've had a couple times.
Yeah.
Marvel and DC present the Uncanny X-Men and the New Teen Titans together at last, with a nice little Walt Simonson dinosaur on the bottom.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite comics of all time.
I would be disappointed if it wasn't.
It's truthfully, and I'm going to say something incredibly controversial. I think Chris Claremont writes the Teen Titans better than Marvel.
Okay. I'm indifferent, so.
Fair.
We've got that at $15. I do like her scary teeth.
Yeah.
Hey, what's this? Masters of the Universe. This is from the Marvel run. We've got issue number 1 at an 8 for $65, or at a 7 for $45. All of the Masters of the Universe first issues are blowing up because of the show and the movie.
And the new comic. Probably not the new comic. But...
We've got issue number 2 here as well for $10.
And a really cool cover.
And we've got issue number 4 here with the awesome Hordak cover with the everybody's favorite border.
The frames.
Yeah, I love that border.
That is also $10.
There's some old school stuff on this.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite Masters of the Universe character, Paul?
Skeletor.
Same.
Well, going by the toys, I was a big fan of Beastman simply because he was furry. And I just thought that was the coolest thing, that an action figure had fur.
Oh, fair. That is pretty cool.
She-Ra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Because of cliches.
We didn't have a lot of strong female role models when I was a kid.
Don't worry, guys. I already asked if Christian had this. This is a Marvel Milestone Editions reprint of the first appearance of Punisher, Amazing Spider-Man 129. It's got a little damage on the spine here. I've got it at a 7 for $10. So the closest thing most of us will ever get to the first printing. And another reprint here. I'm surprised Eric doesn't want this one. A reprint of All-Star Comics Winter Issue number 3, the first appearance of the Justice Society of America. And it's shiny.
So do you know the two really significant things that has nothing to do with the JS, or that's not quite the JSA, that happened in this issue?
What is that?
So it's the first, considered to be the first superhero team.
Okay. Right.
And the first intercompany crossover.
Oh.
Because the JSA was originally characters from National and All American, which later merged, but at the time it was two different companies.
Fascinating. That can be yours. That piece of history can be yours for $10. And shiny.
Oh yeah.
All right. We got some Micronauts here. Issue number 1. It's a fantastic first issue. For $15. Yeah, first appearances of so many people. Baron Zordo, is that his name?
I know nothing about Micronauts.
$15.
At all.
All I know is the X-Men Micronauts crossover is uncomfortable. That's all I know about the Micronauts.
Well, now you know that issue number 8 is the first appearance of Captain Universe.
Which is very cool. And I knew that, and then I forgot, and then I was reminded when I looked at that.
Thank you. We've got that at a 5 for $25. This is the most valuable of the Micronauts books. Not the 25, but like overall. Number 8 is worth more than number 1.
That makes sense.
All because of Captain Universe. Who's your favorite Captain Universe?
It's been like a ton of different characters. Probably just the original.
Okay. I was very excited in the King in Black.
Is he still, or did that end at the end?
I think it ended.
Okay.
But just that moment was pretty great. Mark Spector, Moon Knight, number 1. This is the 3rd volume of Moon Knight. Got 2 copies, both at $10. Now's the time to stock up on Moon Knight.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know anybody other than Oscar Isaac cast for it?
Ethan Hawke.
Do we know who he's playing, or just that he's
The
in
bad guy.
Okay. Fair enough.
They haven't announced who he is yet. The last thing I got over here is Marvel Feature Presents number 8, which is a retelling of the origin of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Sweet.
I've got that at a 7 for $20. Overall, it's in really good shape. Somebody did write a number 2 up here.
Brian Alman's going to take one of the Moon Knights.
Excellent.
Thank you, Brian. I hope you enjoy that.
All right. If anybody has any questions about these, let me know.
So,
Not you. You don't count if you have questions.
oh. Because what was the other ones? GoBots?
GoBots were the Transformers before Transformers.
That's what it was. Okay, yeah. I don't know.
Featuring Phil Hartman in the voice cast.
Yeah, Micronauts.
As well as Optimus Prime.
Oh, true.
He was a GoBot first.
Micronauts was one of those early lessons for Marvel in not integrating IPs that you don't actually own into your universe.
They did that a lot.
Yeah, it's because my fun story about that is it's the reason why Rogue's second appearance can never be reprinted, because it was an issue of ROM Space Knight.
Yes. Well, all Marvel has to do is just buy IDW.
This is true.
Now they got that Disney money.
Or IDW can just pay the licensing fee that they're allowed to pay to do that, but they have not.
Or Marvel can just buy IDW.
I don't like that idea, but I understand why it is appealing.
What do you think is more likely?
And that's more likely, but it's not what I want to happen.
Such is life.
Because it's definitely going to lead to a lower quality, and because the cool thing that IDW does is the high quality reprints of old Marvel and DC stuff.
Definitely. IDW is great for collecting reprints. Their hardcovers, they're just they're so good.
Even their paperbacks, just the artisan editions, are great too.
And they're a great source for modern horror comics.
Also true. And I think they reprint a lot of the old stuff too, like the super old stuff. All right, I think we're ready to move over here. So first up, we have some. We have some Jim Steranko.
Yes.
We have Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #4 at a 5 for $35 with this just awesome cover.
150.
I love it.
Yeah, that is the cover that everybody thinks of.
Agreed. Next up, we have.
Brian says, didn't IDW come out of Now Comics?
I don't know the answer to that.
I also don't know the answer to that. I hear Rose typing.
I'm not typing.
Next up, we have Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #5. We have a copy at a 6 for $45 with this awesome Scorpio cover. This is freaking gorgeous. And we have another copy with some ink stains and some stuff along those lines at a 5 for $35. So some more classic Steranko stuff, and then lastly for our Steranko Nick Fury stuff. Though this cover is not Steranko, but I believe he did do the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #8 at a 7 for $24. I'm trying to read who this cover is, but I can't. It's Frank somebody.
Brian, I'm not seeing anything about that, but I am seeing that it came out of Wildstorm, which is surprising.
Huh. I don't think that's right.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't sound right.
Well, when Wildstorm split and went to DC, looks like Jim Lee was there, and then they kind of split it.
Okay. But IDW, I mean, 30 Days of Night, they're a great horror house.
They
put out some great horror collections.
Also, probably the best licensed book house that there's been. Their Star Trek stuff, their Doctor Who stuff.
They do Doctor Who?
They used to, and then Titan, before Titan.
Okay.
Next up, we got Machine Man #1. Hunted, hounded. He fights to survive in a hostile world. I wonder who that sounds like that I enjoy. But they made him in their own image and condemned him to death for being too human. I think Machine Man's one of those characters who is I don't know, he doesn't get enough love.
I'm not overly familiar with Machine Man.
That's fair. Most of my familiarity with him comes from Jeff Parker's X-Men First Class, where they have him show up, and he's just super interesting.
I like his design, but at the same time, it just looks like so many different people.
This is true. He almost looks like Galactus got shrunk down and stole stole Blue Beetle's goggles.
And somebody took all his accentuating jewelry.
And then next up, we've got Kazar #1 at a 6 for $14. The fabulous first issue where Kazar returns to the Savage Land. Next up, we have a issue that I didn't know why it was important until just before the show, and Paul enlightened me. We have Logan's Run #6 at a 6 for $17, and the backup story in here is the first solo Thanos story, which I did not know. That's very awesome.
It's very weird.
Yeah, it's cool. Like,
I mean, I love Logan's Run, the movie anyway. I never read the book, but that's just weird that for some reason there's a Thanos story in there.
That reminds me of just like a lot of characters having first appearances in places I would not have expected.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have a very enjoyable Uncanny X-Men story. I quite like this one. It's Uncanny X-Men 268. This is from the Jim Lee run, and this is a story featuring Captain America, Logan, and Black Widow in Madripoor. And the cool thing is there are 2 stories in it from different points in time. Because the one in the present also has Psylocke and Jubilee, and the one in the past is sort of basically a pseudo-origin for all of them, for Black Widow, Cap, and Logan. Next up, we have a classic Uncanny X-Men issue. We have issue 137, a special double-sized issue, Phoenix Must Die. And this is the last issue of the Dark Phoenix saga, wherein the X-Men fight the Shi'ar, and Jean allows herself to be killed for the good of the universe.
And also, if somebody buys it, it could be worth $2,500.
This is true. I think it was like some kind of weird like Toys R Us contest, if I remember correctly. Because I have the facsimile issue of this, which has the ad in it still.
Oh, well then get that and then use the Toys R Us ad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of X-Men issues and classics, we have X-Men 139. Welcome to the X-Men, Kitty cried. Hope you survive the experience, which is a line...
So threatening.
Yeah. Which is a line that gets repeated ad nauseum. Hope you survive the experience. To the point where in Sword #1, Magneto makes a joke where when Cable welcomes him to the Sword Station, he's like, "Did I detect a hope you survive the experience in there?" This is a really good issue, too.
Toss her into the danger room. Also with a polar bear, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, like, considering this cover, I never would have guessed it, but this is an Alpha Flight story. Like, this is X-Men and Alpha Flight teaming up. And it's also the issue that Kitty officially joins the team.
Well, do you really, after all these years, do you really look at a cover of a comic book and think that it represents the story inside? Very rarely does that seem to happen.
In this era, it's a little more true. I mean, it doesn't tell you everything, but, normally in this point in time, if Spider-Man was in an issue for 1 second, he was on the cover.
Yes, well, he's the best-selling toy of all time.
This is true.
Versus Alpha Flight.
Versus Alpha.
Be nice to Alpha Flight. I like it.
They can't even sell syrup.
Damn. Well, next up we have Uncanny X-Men #211 with another of the beautiful frame covers. The second part of the Mutant Massacre storyline, and the first full appearance of the Marauders. Mutant Massacre is, as the title suggests, very sad, but it's also a very good story. And this is sort of because the key thing you get is that the Marauders like kick the X-Men's butt. Like the X-Men lose the first encounter. But it's some good stuff. I like this Logan cover here. Got his hair like that. Got the. It's a good blood.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a 7 for $12. Then we have. I'll pick that up later. We have Uncanny X-Men 212 and 213, the next two parts of the Mutant Massacre, and also the first fight between Wolverine and Sabretooth. We have 212 at a 7 for 15 and 213 at a 7 for 12.
I do believe we just sold a set of those a couple weeks ago.
We sell this pretty much whenever we have it. Classic issues, classic rivalry. You know, in wrestling, we like to say that some people will fight forever, and I think for Wolverine and Sabretooth, that is definitely true.
So I was thinking about this because I just rewatched it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what comic book movie has really, really good opening titles?
Which?
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah.
So good.
It's well, A, why did you rewatch it? And B, it's everybody's like, yeah, no, the opening credits is what the movie should have been.
Okay, first of all, do not judge me. I like that movie. But yeah, so good. I'd forgotten about how good those credits are.
Like it just looks good. Like it's well made.
Mm-hmm. Like the two of them like in famous wars throughout time. And then you can slowly see like Sabretooth being more vicious.
Right.
And Logan be like, yeah, maybe we don't claw out the eyes.
More interested in cigars.
Was that the movie where Sabretooth was played by Liev Schreiber?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
See, I know that because he is the narrator of a superhero documentary from a few years ago that I greatly enjoyed.
I know that because I knew it.
Yes.
I watched it.
I knew that because when they announced that, I was like, that's weird.
Fair.
I'll watch anything he's in.
I mean, he kind of looks like what I would imagine a non-feral Victor Creed to look like, so it kind of makes sense.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I knew him from the Scream movies.
Is he good in the Scream movies?
Well,
nobody's good in the Scream movies.
You can't talk about. I'm in the minority of horror fans that I don't like the Scream movies.
Okay. I heard Matthew Lillard was good in the first one.
He's good in everything.
Oh yeah,
True.
He's the outlier.
Like he's good in Hackers.
Oh no,
that movie's terrible.
Yeah. We're in.
Yeah.
That's the only good thing from that movie.
Eric, let's move on.
Indeed.
I got it.
Oh.
You're doing it?
I don't know. I like it when we plan things and like nobody listens.
What?
We got some more Kirby over here.
This is the Silver Age, DC rack.
OMAC, one-man army, number 1. Out of 8 for $35. We actually, I don't have them all up here, but I do have all 8 issues of OMAC graded and priced and ready to sell. So if you are interested in the whole set, we can work out a deal. Got issue number 2 here at an 8 for $20.
Ironically, most of my knowledge of OMAC comes from like the state of the DC universe around and after Infinite Crisis.
We've got number 3 at a 7 for $15. Last ones that we have up on display, we got issue number 4 at a 7 for $15.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the series we have priced, I think they're all $15 except for one that is a $20. They're all 7s or 8s. They're all in good shape.
I'm not familiar with OMAC.
OMAC is the one-man army corps.
I'm familiar with Olmec.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about Cobra number 1?
How about that?
Exactly. Got that for $20.
I actually didn't know until today that there was a Cobra solo book. Cobra's always a villain, so this was the period where they weren't really doing villain led books because they did the Joker book and it didn't sell super well.
No, a little more Kirby. First issue special Manhunter.
For those of you that enjoy Manhunter, this is the first appearance of the Mark Shaw incarnation of Manhunter.
Got that for $18.
Who is actually currently like vaguely relevant because he's the villain of the Brian Bendis Checkmate series.
It's interesting.
Because he became the leader of Leviathan.
Got Metal Men number 3. Got that graded out of 4 for $25.
Man, these are some old characters we have today.
Yeah. Some of my favorites up here.
We've got Metal Men number 4 out of 5 for $32. One more Metal Man. This one is issue number 33, but it's at a 7 for $24. So this is in good shape.
Yeah.
It looks really nice.
Really love it when I come across. Normally, when you come across Metal Men books, they're all beat up. But this one's in really good shape. I love the design of this cover because you have this whole thing is like magenta, except for the cop car, which is a nice forest green, so it clashes really well.
Yeah, it looks really good. Kind of reminds me of that one Silver Age X-Men comic we had a while ago that was very red. Oh, okay. I thought we just had one, but if we had multiple, I believe you.
Mr. Miracle number 6. First appearance of the Female Furies.
Yeah.
And first appearance of, what's his name?
Funky Flashman.
Funky Flashman.
Or as you might know him better, Stan Lee.
Yes, this is Jack Kirby throwing shade at Stan Lee.
It's very funny.
$30.
And if I remember correctly, he actually showed up in Tom King's Mr. Miracle.
I haven't read that one yet.
It's the best thing Tom King has written, in my opinion.
We got another Mr. Miracle number 7 here. First appearance of Kanto. Got that at a 7 for $23. There is somebody who wrote up here on the thing, probably trying to sell it for $3.
He seems to be in very specific predicaments in these two issues.
That's his whole shtick.
Is it?
He's an escape artist.
Yeah. Because in the first issue, he comes across the previous guy who had the Mr. Miracle name, who was an escape artist, who teaches him, because his basically new god power is that he can escape from anything.
And so he's constantly locked up in what looks to be the exact same harness.
Yep.
All right. Phantom Stranger number 2 from the 60s series, not the 50s series, volume 2. Phantom Stranger number 2, graded at a 6 for $20. Great cover.
I love me some Phantom Stranger. I just love all the DC Supernatural characters. Love me some Etrigan, some Phantom Stranger. And some Blue Devil once in a while.
I'm just trying to think if it's possible that Mr. Miracle inspired or was inspired by the Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay.
I don't know.
I think that one was, because that was like Jewish comic book writers, and they're supposed to be like Kirby and Lee, and the hero that they wrote was an escape artist. So I don't know, maybe.
I always thought that they were inspired by Siegel and Schuster.
Fair. I haven't read that book in a very long time.
Gotcha. But it would make sense if like Mr. Miracle inspired it in some way, because Kirby is one of the most influential creators in all of comics.
Yeah. He is indeed. We actually have our creator corner end cap this month is all Jack Kirby.
Hey.
So we've got a whole bunch of, I say a whole bunch, we've got all of the Jack Kirby trades that we have in stock over there. And with first few days that I had it up, sold quite a few actually.
Yeah.
Very pleased with that.
I was wondering who was going to take over the Lumiere one.
So yeah, we got Kirby up now.
Well, hey.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, last month was Zdarsky, right?
It was Zdarsky.
Oh. It wasn't Lumiere.
No.
I don't pay attention to anything that happens
Yeah,
in the shop.
Lemire was a couple
Jeez.
months ago.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I know, you were letting it slide. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, let's throw up some more books over here.
It's quiet. Nobody's saying
Mhm.
anything.
Everybody okay? You all having a good night?
Nobody's interested in what we got going on.
I'm used to it. All right. It's going to be, we don't have really any high dollar books this week. But we got some fun stuff. New Mutants 86. Got 2 copies of that at the same price, $25.
Hey, Dalton and Andrew.
Got the first cameo appearance of Cable.
Yeah, this is a. I believe for people who are interested, I believe this is also first Liefeld.
Yeah, it is.
Not my cup of tea, but he has his fans, and you know what? If a comic makes you happy, that's what's important.
You know what? I'm just going to throw these out there real fast. Got a nice big chunk of Man Thing.
So much Man Thing.
Rose found that humorous. We got issue number 2 for $12.
I'm glad you're having fun, Rose.
Got issue number 3 for $13. Issue number 4 for $13. Issue number 5 for $7. Issue number 6 for $7. So a lot of these are very affordable. Issue number 7 for $12. 8 for $12. 7 for $12. 7 for $12. 11 for $8. 12 for $6. And then we've got number 1 of the second volume, which was actually just a one-shot. So we've got 3 copies of that for $8.
This is like the second Marvel book that I can think of that did that weird thing of having the second volume just be one issue.
Yeah,
because Silver Surfer did that, yeah. And Man Thing.
Oh yeah, so yeah. I mean, outside of issue number 1, we've got 2 through 12 here from the first series.
Very cool. Sure, if we don't sell those, they'll make their way into your collection.
Maybe.
Could, yeah.
Here, Eric, why don't you dig through this stack, see if there's stuff in here you like.
Okay.
Might as well throw out some of our bigger books as well. We've got the, as Eric was saying, he loves some Phantom Stranger. We got issue number 1 of volume 2 right there for $45. It's graded out of 6. It is the second Silver Age appearance of the Phantom Stranger. Bye, Brian.
Bye.
Here we've got Marvel Premiere number 1, The Power of Warlock. We've got that graded out of 5 for $60. Warlock is just going up in price. Everybody's waiting for that Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I think it'd be kind of funny if they just never went back to it.
Marvel Premiere number 2, second in that series for $25.
What was in that cocoon? What cocoon? Move on.
Here we go. Marvel Premiere number 47, the first appearance of Scott Lang as Ant-Man, graded out of 3 for $45. That's a 3 for $45. If only this was in better shape, I would have been ecstatic.
Which book was that? Sorry, I was digging.
First Scott Lang as Ant-Man.
Very cool.
Well, maybe you can repair it.
Yes, I'm sure I could. Oh, yeah, I forgot that we had a little Nick Fury #1.
Yeah, I saw that, and that was like, that's so cool.
$65. Nick Fury #2. This was cool. Did you read the note on that? No.
I did. I forgot what it was.
Jimmy Woo joined S.H.I.E.L.D.
Sweet.
Hey, I know that character.
Uh-huh. Now we all do, yeah. Nobody knew him a year ago. And we got this fella again. Every time we sell one of these, another one pops up.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
I definitely was aware of Jimmy Woo before a year ago, but I wasn't like...
I mean, he was in, Ant-Man, the movie, for a couple minutes.
I mean, I also just was aware that Agents of Atlas existed. I just wasn't super familiar with it. All right, I found myself a stack of some cool things to share.
What's the grade on that Nick Fury #1?
Nick Fury #1 is a 5.
First up, we got Phantom Stranger #21 at a 6 for $10. Got this sort of torture's going on, but it's in the shadow, which I think is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And all you really see, maybe that's the electric chair. Yeah, actually, I think that's the electric chair. People are horrified as they watch what's going on, and the Phantom Stranger, as is his way, all he can do is watch. Poor guy. Next up, we have Metamorpho, the Element Man, number 11, at a 7 for $22. He's at it again from E-Man to pulverizing pillbox in one wild chemical switch. I love a lot of Silver Age covers. They're very interesting. And then we have a whole bunch of a book that I don't see very often, so I wanted to spotlight this because I think it's cool. Let me just put them all in order. We have some not brand Ek. Or Ek? Etch? Not brand? Yeah, not brand Ek. Who says a comic book has to be good is the slogan of not brand Ek. This one doesn't have a grade on it, but I'm assuming it's low.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like, I'm going to eyeball it at a 2, let's say. For $8, the bad guys win. See what happens to Scaredevil, Sunk Mariner, and the X-Men when the bad guys win. We got number 5, introducing the one, the only, the unmitigated... Oh, is this the first appearance of Forbush Man?
It is.
That's very cool.
That's very keen of you to know that.
We have this similarly at a similar grade of like a 1 or a 2 for $9. Nothing ever happens around here. Big peace and quiet issue.
Joe Isaac is here.
Hey, Joe Isaac.
Good evening.
We have issue 10. This one is in considerably better shape. It's still not in good shape, but this one's probably closer to like a 3 or a 4. For $14, and this cover's got everybody. Then we have issue 11 with King Konk, the greatest monster movie of all time. We have this one for $7. And then lastly in the pile, we have number 13 with a bunch of stamps that are, support your local rain god, Brotherhood Week, Stomp a Bigot Today, which I love. I love that stamp. I might have to get this one if no one gets it, just for the thing being like Stomp a Bigot Today. Mm-hmm. Make nice, not war. Abolish Marvel with a totally not Batman. Mm-hmm. These are very good.
I came across this today, which is more of a niche thing. Popo of the Popcorn Theater.
Huh.
From the 1950s. I think this is 1955 or 56. This was handed out at grocery stores. Popo was like a a TV clown.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like just weird promotional thing.
The predecessor to like Bozo.
Yeah.
Weird. Cool though.
Very weird. It's be nice if it was in better shape because like a good copy is pricey. But we've got that for $15 if you're into that weird niche.
Next up, we have 2 issues of NYX. Unfortunately, we don't have the issue number 6 and 7 at 12 and 8 respectfully. But if you, like me, are a fan of X-adjacent books from the mid-2000s, or early 2000s, then this is a great pickup. NYX is not my personal favorite book because it has a little more drug use than I like in my stories, but the writing's pretty solid.
They're a really good makeup brand.
Did not know that.
Yeah, it's on a budget.
I've got a Power Man Annual #1 for $8. This, according to the listings, this has a cameo flashback appearance of the Punisher. I went through every page of this and I couldn't find him.
Weird.
So that's why it's $8 because I couldn't find the Punisher.
Actually, let's organize this a little bit. Here we go. First up, we got Metamorpho #8, which is cool. At a 4 for $12. Is the mighty Cobalt Hand enough to halt Metamorpho's deadliest foe, Doc Tread?
Doc Tread.
Is it Paul?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is in a little rough shape. This is Power Man #49. This is the last issue before it's retitled as Heroes for Hire with Iron Fist.
Oops. Sorry.
That's only $7.
Next up, we have Metal Man #29. 6 for $15. Featuring the Metal Men are under the crushing heel of the Robot Eater of Metalis 5.
Got one more Power Man for you. Issue number 41 for $5. Yeah, $5.
Then we got a run of X-Men books. We have number 118 at a 7 for $30. Featuring Sunfire, who, if you buy this issue, you should also get the Peach Momoko.
You should.
You don't have to, but you should, in my opinion. Get the.
No, I'd say you have to.
Okay.
There were a lot of Peach Momoko variants this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
But if you like this, I recommend getting the Peach Momoko X-Men #1 variant with the cool Sunfire mask. It's gorgeous.
Yes. I got a fun one here. Ooh. DC Comics Plop #1.
Oh, nice.
Their attempt at the underground comedy comics of the 70s, featuring Sergio Aragones. And there's somebody else in here that I was like, ooh, I didn't know they did that. But yeah. This one's beat up. $4 for $8. Graded out of 4 for $8.
Speaking of $8, we have Uncanny X-Men #144 at a 7 for $8. Cry Despair, guest starring the Macabre Man-Thing.
We've got Plastic Man #19. $7. Love Plastic Man. Love me some Eels O'Brien.
Next up, we got Uncanny X-Men 191. That's 6 for $8. Vision fighting Colossus, pretty cool. And you got a bunch of like silhouettes of characters in the background. If I didn't, no, this is definitely not. For a second, I thought this was almost a Sienkiewicz cover because of some of the sketching of the people in the background, but no, it's not. Good cover though. Then we've got Uncanny X-Men 210, the first part of the Uncanny X-Men portion of the Mutant Massacre. Come on, mess with us. Make our day. And then lastly from this pile of X-Men, we've got the Uncanny X-Men 256. Mandarin has a new assassin, and Psylocke is her name. This is the infamous issue where Betsy Braddock gets put into a ambiguously Asian body. Yeah. because Jim Lee wanted to draw a sexy ninja. Had a 7 for $10.
Yeah, I could have swore I had more books today. Can you just look through like 100 of them?
Something like that.
I don't know. Is it what?
It's like last week's stuff.
While Paul looks for that, so Rose, watched any good comic shows, movies, or anything like that recently? Okay.
Yeah, she already told you she watched over.
Oh, right. Did you enjoy it at least?
Yeah, I like that movie.
Okay. And hey, I really enjoy the Birds of Prey TV show. I will never begrudge anyone for enjoying Wolverine.
No, I mostly just rewatched Schitt's Creek.
Okay.
And just packing.
Fair.
Brian, I'm just gonna take Mars Attacks.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Hey, my box up.
Is it promise the spots for you?
That's $2.
Understood. I don't know if this is the correct article. I'll call that. I'll show off some of these war comics we found. We have
What's the grade on Marvel? You're number 1.
what is that? Oh, this one. That's a 5.
5 for 60.
Yep.
Where'd my box of comics go?
Well, Paul looks for those. I have some Power Fighting featuring the Losers. We've got number 171 out of 5 for $7 with Captain Storm, Johnny Cloud, Gunner, and Sarge. We've got
Captain Storm and Johnny Cloud.
yes.
Yeah.
Yet another Jeffrey Morgan comic book.
I actually so DC the New Frontier opens with a Losers section, and I actually really enjoy that part of the story, even though I'm not really a war comics person. We've got number 172 with them in a prisoner of war camp, seemingly. The two-headed spy. That's weird. We've got 173 out of 5 for 7. We've got 174 out of 5 for 7. And then, surprise, surprise, 177 out of 5 for 7.
In the near future, we are going to start featuring some of the old underground comics from the 70s. But the only one I have right now is number 1 of Myron Moose Funnies.
Any idea who that's by?
Not off the top of my head. I didn't know. It's $15. It's in good shape for something from that era. So we're going to get more of those. I also have from Atlas Comics, the 70s Atlas Comics, Morlock 2001, number 1. And Morlock 2001, number 3, which is the first appearance of the Midnight Men. I know everybody loves the Midnight Men.
Are they the
1970s Atlas Comics? Unless you read Atlas Comics, you have no idea who they are.
right? Sorry, Atlas. I was confusing it with Star Comics, which is an imprint of.
Right. I also have a reprint of an EC comic, Moon Girl and the Prince, number 1. This Moon Girl and the Prince from EC Comics, this is the book that will later transition into the horror comics.
Huh.
So, even though this is a reprint from, I don't see a year on it, but it was 15 years ago or so. It has a little note on it on the back. I would have priced this more $15, but somebody put the sticker on the comic. So I'm going to keep it at $50. But this is a reprint of a piece of history.
Very cool. I didn't actually know that.
We're just pulling out all sorts of wild stuff tonight.
Yeah. We have really cool ones tonight.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're just going to be treading through last week's books. To go with the Marvel premiere, we've got the first issue of Power of Warlock.
We got this one at a 7 for $50 here. I love this cover with this like kind of vampiric looking guy who I don't recognize. But great cover. Knight of the Man Beast.
It might be the man beast.
We've got this. Got that GI Joe number 21 for $80. It's a 4. The cover is beat up, but this thing is not going down in price anytime soon.
Yeah. Didn't you say that a high grade one is going for like a couple $100?
Yeah, ridiculous. Inhumans number 1, high grade, best grade I've ever seen this book at for $90. The Vengeance of Bane, first appearance and origin of Bane for $50.
Maybe you could just to explain why this one's a 7.
Yeah, right down here in the corner, there's like part of the cover torn off. You know, where like the top of the paper is ripped off, but the rest of the paper's there, sort of thing. That's all. Then we've got the iconic Batman Year One, all 4 issues for $70, or individually at other prices. Issue number 1, $25. Issue 2 for $20, which is the first appearance of Carmine Falcone. I know Christian just read The Long Halloween, so he's very familiar with that.
I have to read that.
It's the best. We got part 3 for $17 and part 4 for $15.
That reminds me, I did watch. I watched the new Long Halloween.
Yeah.
How was it?
I did not like it.
No.
No.
Even with Jensen Ackles?
I did not.
I'm sorry.
Because the animation threw me off a lot.
Okay.
It looked like kind of like early Titmouse stuff,
Okay.
like Venture Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it didn't work for like the brooding tone that I'm used to, like the Paul Dini stuff. And it's a nitpick, but it's like the character mouth didn't match up with what they were saying very well,
That's fun.
and so it was just distracting. Other than that, I really like the characterization of Selena Kyle. That's it.
Yes.
Well, how do you like Alice Cooper for $20? Buff Alice Cooper. Or the first issue of Sin City for $15. Eric, what do you have?
We've got Wonder Woman number 72 at a 940 because it has this gorgeous Brian Bolland cover. Speaking of Brian Bolland covers, just for anyone interested, this week's variant cover of Swamp Thing was also a Bolland cover.
Yes, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Here's Secret Wars number 3 at a 6 for $25. First appearance of the second Titania, who shall be appearing in the TV show.
Sin City spine ticks or anything? How's the spine on it?
Sin City, the spine is pretty good. There's a slight little tick at the bottom corner and right next to the Dark Horse logo, but that is it. That is, why it's not a 9.
Next up, we got Punisher number 10, guest starring everyone's favorite devil, the Devil Who Dares.
I've got a Marvel Spotlight on Star-Lord, Marvel Spotlight number 7 for $25.
We've got Curse of the Spawn at an 8 for This is the black and white variant.
I've got an Incredible Hulk number 449, first appearance of the Thunderbolts. Goodness gracious.
Great Balls of Fire. We got Green Arrow number 1, out of 9 for 24, and this is him with my favorite version of the Green Arrow costume. And then we've got Green Lantern Green Arrow number 90 at a 6 for 10. This is the first issue of the Mike Grell era of this book.
Do we want more? We got 10 minutes left. We want to let people, think about stuff.
We can have them think.
All right.
We've shown a lot of books,
Shown a lot of books.
but maybe not exactly what our audience is looking for tonight.
Again, Wednesdays have been a lot lately, so.
Wednesdays have been a lot lately. Yeah, one Halloween I was like, man.
It's arguably my favorite Batman story.
It's a very good story. Good voice cast.
So is it making the animation in like 3 years?
Yeah,
That happens.
good.
Was it similar? Was the art style similar to the comic, or was it completely different? That's annoying.
Yeah. It was kind of underwhelming. But so this one was PG-13. Apparently part 2 is rated R.
Oh.
That's weird.
Violence and
Mhm.
language.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just wants to know if we have any older Fantastic Four. I don't think we
No.
have any.
Well, not this week. No, I mean, this is the rare week without any Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of odd.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we end it so early.
Well, let people stew on these books.
You'll be back on Saturday.
Yep. Rose will not. Rose is going to be leaving us on Saturday anyway. Someone is moving into a new apartment
Hey,
and decided to take the day off of work.
so excited! I took 4 days off.
Is Brian rerun it today?
Brian will be here on Saturday.
Sweet.
So it should be Brian and Christian behind the cameras. And then I'm going to run away as soon as we're done and go help Rose move.
Yeah. Dalton, yes. C4, C5, C6.
C4. Well, C4, we got 2 options. I assume you want the 8
I would assume.
and not the 7.
Yeah. I bet these would go up.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
I mean, they'll get it from Netflix, and then in a year when the show or when the movie comes out, they'll get another bump for 2 years.
I hope you enjoy them both.
And he was barbaric with his file.
You need to pick that up and read it.
So good. Oh, it's so good.
It's a lot of fun. We just got restocked on it today, but of course, half of the 10 were damaged.
Sure.
So I could only put out half of them, which I think I already sold 2 or 3 of them from the wall today.
Believe it.
Anybody else thinking about some books? Because I think Rose wants to leave. Rose has that moving into a new apartment jitters. She just wants to go. I'm happy to sit here.
Defiantly pouting. Yeah. Looks like I am not familiar with so many of these.
Yeah.
Fresh wants a cover of this week's X-Men.
A cover? Any cover?
No, a.
Oh,
A cover.
the A cover.
We can do that.
We can do that.
There were some good covers for that one.
A lot of them were really good.
Much better than the actual book. Mwah.
I fully disagree.
All right. There's the A cover.
Got it. We read another good one this week that we can talk about yet, apparently.
Oh yeah. My favorite company. It's a company called Bad Idea. Maybe you've heard of them. They sent us 2 books to come out this week, and then after doing all of the processing yesterday, I come in this morning. Well, I'm here all morning, and then I check my emails, and they sent an email saying that one of them is being pushed to next week. So I had to go through the 20 plus subscriptions in our file boxes and pull them out.
Oh no.
And take them off the wall.
But it was good.
It was Marguerite, what's her face?
Bennett?
Yeah.
She's great.
First.
What was it? Or what was it called, I guess?
The Lot, as in a movie lot. The
Interesting.
back lot.
Sweet.
Yes. It's movie oriented. It's scary movie oriented.
I miss Marguerite Bennett. She hasn't really been doing a lot in my orbit lately.
Well,
Next week, if we have any copies left, you can read The Lot.
Good to know.
All right. Well, I'm ready to go.
yeah. Oh, no, it's okay.
Same here.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we will see you Saturday at 11 o'clock on the Comic Book Shopping Network.
Yes.
Rose will not see you,
No.
but she'll be back next Wednesday.
Good luck, everybody else.
Have a good evening.
Have a good one, folks.